Starting now, this is your local news leader, News 10 ABC in the morning.
Good Friday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Arangio.
And I'm Mary Wilson. Here's a look at what we're working on this morning.
Serious crash in Amsterdam, leaving 2 people with life-threatening injuries. What we know about the crash so far from state police.
And making sure no student goes hungry, the renewed efforts from the state to fight food insecurity.
Saratoga County still dealing with the impact of last night's flooding. I have a look at the conditions here in Gansevoort coming up.
After a rough night with those heavy storms,
Yes.
and as you said earlier, it really did seem like it was coming down in buckets for many of us.
Right.
So right now where Juliana is, obviously they're not getting the rain, but other areas saw that rain push through. Albany County's getting it.
Right, yeah, we're into the thick of it right now here at News 10 ABC. Parts of the Capital District came from the northwest of Saratoga County where Juliana.
And a check of those real-time traffic maps.
So we've been talking about all morning that heavy rain causing flooding, washing out roads across the capital region.
That's right, and we've got team coverage this morning. News 10's Juliana Bruno and meteorologist Matt Mackey live in Saratoga and Rensselaer counties, and they have a look at the damage this morning.
All right, so let's start with Juliana, who's in Gansevoort. Tell us what it's like there, Juliana.
Well, Christina and Mary, it's good that it stopped raining because that was all piling on top of what were already streams and creeks that were at high levels. I'm here on Fedora Road here in Gansevoort, and you can see this bridge is closed, a stream running underneath it. Lots of areas across Saratoga County like this still closed off after last night's flooding, including Greenfield, where the highway department was working well into the night to try and mitigate the flooding that happened there. Here in Gansevoort, volunteers from the American Red Cross had to give immediate emergency aid to 2 people after the flooding last night over on Northern Pines Road. Shelter, food, and clothing. Red Cross staff and volunteers are going to be available, as always, to people who are impacted by this flooding. We're going to keep you posted on various road closures in the areas that have been impacted by this flooding. Again, it's good that it stopped raining because water levels were high in the bodies of water in this area. Again, we'll keep you posted on air and online on our website, news10.com. Live in Gansevoort, Juliana Bruno, News 10 ABC.
That time to dry out. Thank you, Juliana. All right, so we want to get to meteorologist Matt Mackey, who's live in the mobile storm tracker this morning. And Matt, you're in Rensselaer County now, right?
Yeah, good morning, Christina. We're coming to you live from Pittstown in Rensselaer County, right along the Tom Hennick Reservoir, which is behind me. This is one of the spots that's seen a ton of rain over the past several weeks. Don't necessarily need any more. Unfortunately, a burst of incredibly heavy rain. Some downpours just rolled on through. As you can see, don't need the umbrella at this second because things have lightened up. We're kind of down to a light shower, a light sprinkle, but just know that some of the roads where that incredibly heavy downpour is pushing on through do have some pooling of water. You're going to be splashing if you're going too close to the shoulder, and hydroplaning could be a very, very real issue in the areas that see the heaviest rain. So make sure you're watching Jill's radar. Those areas with those downpours, that yellow, orange, red coloration, if your travels are going to take you through there, plan on some extra time to get where you need to go, because we've been driving around all morning in the mobile storm tracker, and at times things are hairy. The roads are a little bit slippery out there, so make sure you're taking it easy. We're beginning to see a little bit of breaks in the cloud cover, so perhaps clearing on out over the next several hours, but the areas south and east of us still have some rain to get through. We'll be tracking it with the mobile storm tracker. It's powered by Curtis Lumber. We'll have more live reports later in this show. I'm meteorologist Matt Mackey. Let's get it back to you in studio.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Matt. To some breaking news we're following for you this morning. Police responding to a crash on 2nd Street in Albany. Show you the video from the scene, and we know at least 1 car was damaged. Some damage to a nearby fence as well. You're looking at that. We'll keep following this for you as we work to get more information. As soon as we have the details, we'll pass those along.
And new this morning, state police responding to what they're calling a serious personal injury crash in Amsterdam. They say it happened yesterday in the I-90 entrance lane of exit 27, just before 5 p.m. A passenger car and minivan were hit head-on. At least 2 people suffered serious life-threatening injuries. 3 others had to be transported for their injuries to the hospital. Stay with News 10 as we learn more.
Happening today, Albany County hosting another informational session so residents can check their eligibility for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. That's happening at the Centro Civico Food Drive from 8 in the morning until noon. Now, the Albany Community Development Agency will have a webinar on Monday, August 16th, for landlords and tenants on the rent relief program at 6 p.m. They'll also go over maintenance and repair grants, property tax installment plans, and foreclosure prevention programs. For more information, go to our website, news10.com. At the state capitol, Governor Cuomo signing new legislation which prevents schools from filing lawsuits against parents for unpaid meal fees. The new legislation builds on his No Student Goes Hungry program that was created back in 2018. The New York State Parent Teacher Association says they're in favor of the new law.
We as an education community, as a community in general, have to ensure the health, safety, and wellness of our students. That means that food insecurity must be on our list of to-dos that we do to support our students. Every child should have the opportunity and the continued opportunity to have a healthy breakfast and a healthy lunch in school buildings.
Officials say that in New York, roughly 54% of students qualified for free and reduced lunch or need some sort of food assistance. Those in need can email the New York State PTA. We'll show you the email in just a moment here. There it is on your screen. The organization helps connect you to food service programs in your own community. We have the information posted on our website as well, so if you didn't catch it here, just go to news10.com.
Well, tackling gun violence, a violence prevention summit bringing national experts to New York. Rochester is hoping to develop a citywide approach to reducing shootings and other forms of violence. Leaders say long-term approaches that work with the community are needed, and experts add that engaging people at the center of firearm activity is another solution.
Those very individuals are not being engaged by any public or community-based system of care, connecting them to resources, supports, and opportunities.
And Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren says that when tackling gun violence, the first step is having these conversations and getting more people involved. Happening now, police in Bennington, Vermont are searching for some unusual vandals targeting a landmark there in Bennington. Police say surveillance video showed two men, two women climbing and jumping on the big chair in Bennington. Stands at 19 feet tall. They broke the seat, and it's reported that one of the women got hurt in the process of this, had to be carried off by one of the men. Locals say the community is coming together to make sure that the big chair is repaired.
We'll fix it and it'll be better and stronger than ever. You know, this is a piece of history and we want people to appreciate it and we want it to stay here. So stay off the chair.
Yeah, the chair will need some a tune-up there in its structure and the seat, along with some new wood and rope. Police are asking if anyone has any information on who these individuals are to call them.
Happening now, the Greene County Health Department calling on residents to wear masks while inside, regardless of their vaccination status. This after the CDC updated its guidance, and they're recommending masks be worn inside in areas with substantial community transmission, and that's the situation that Greene County is in right now. North of New York City, Greene County is one of only 3 counties that meet the criteria for substantial community transmission. But look at this. Locally, Saratoga County also hits that mark now. Orange County is the 3rd county included, but no word on those other counties in terms of wearing masks indoors yet, whether you're vaccinated or not. We'll let you know what we find out.
In your top story trending this morning, President Biden is now calling on states, territories, and local governments to do more to incentivize getting the vaccine. He wants them to offer $100 to people who get vaccinated. He's also calling on states to reimburse small and medium-sized businesses for offering their employees paid leave to get their family members vaccinated. The former CDC director weighing in on President Biden's proposed incentives, along with the CDC's new mask guidance, saying the bottom line is that vaccines are the best tool to get past the pandemic.
Right now, we're seeing big increases in cases in the U.S. because the Delta variant is more than twice as infectious. That means that we're going to have to double down on protection, increase vaccination, and even for those vaccinated, where disease is spreading rapidly in indoor spaces, wear a mask.
And President Biden now requiring every federal government employee to be vaccinated or get tested twice a week, wear a mask, and socially distance.
Carl Levin, Michigan's longest-serving U.S. senator, has died at the age of 87. Levin, known for working effectively with both Republicans and Democrats, he was also a longtime member of the Senate Armed Services Committee and co-chaired the Senate Auto Caucus. A new Russian science lab briefly knocking the International Space Station out of position. The 22-ton Russian lab unexpectedly fired its jet thrusters after docking yesterday. NASA and Russian controllers regaining control of the station about 45 minutes later. NASA officials say there's no damage, though, thankfully, and the crew was never in any danger, most importantly.
The NBA draft was back in person this year with fans in the stands once again. For the first pick, the Detroit Pistons choosing Cade Cunningham. Jalen Green, who played in the G League, was chosen by the Houston Rockets. This was the first time since the 1947 inaugural draft that the draft was held in July instead of June, all because of COVID-19. In Japan 2020, Tatiana Schoonmaker was knocking off the first individual world record in swimming, beating that record.
Yes, and the 24-year-old South African winning the women's 200-meter breaststroke with a time of 2 minutes and 18.95 seconds. And she broke an 8-year-old record doing that. And how about this? 18-year-old American gymnast Suni Lee capturing the world by storm, winning the women's all-around gold medal. Tremendous. Lee competing after Olympic champion Simone Biles, of course, stepped away, withdrawing from the all-around individual competition to focus on her mental health. She needed that break. Meanwhile, dozens of Suni's family members gathering to watch the broadcast from her hometown, watching on the screens, just cheering, so thrilled. And this has really been an amazing thing for them, especially because her father, who you see in the foreground there to the right, he was paralyzed. They've lost family members to COVID. So this is just such a happy thing for all of them.
I love it.
She's worked so hard for it.
And to see that she has that support system,
Yep.
so important. Well, for more on these stories and the latest breaking news, you can head to our website, news10.com.
Well, we have some new details on that Russian science lab that briefly knocked the International Space Station out of position that we just told you about.
Why NASA is now grounding its Starliner spacecraft launch, which was supposed to happen today.
And how Vermont's first black female police chief hopes to serve as an inspiration for young girls.
Here's what's going on at the Saratoga Racecourse today. Jill and Christina will be back in action at noon. The featured race is the curling.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader, with Christina Arangio, Ryan Peterson, Mary Wilson, and meteorologist Jill Swed.